After grueling Marufo Vega trail yesterday, we're taking it real light today. We're doing another nature walk, less than a mile. I'm really only taking a video of this for my cousin Michael, who might be interested to walk this again. Okay. And for Jake. They've truly had whatever this is here for 20 years now. There's actually a lot more than there was. There was just one little section. So again, the first time I was ever here was with my friends Jake and Michael. It was my first ever backcountry trip, was to Big Bend. It was so much. And Jake ended up buying a walking stick on this trail from one of those little setup shops, which really don't make any sense to us. We thought, this might sound really bad in today's climate, but we thought back then that people were crossing the border because we're so close, setting up little shops with tip jars, and then they can come back later and get the money from the tip jars. We were so sure of that it was kind of a process. We we got stopped by Border Patrol on the way out, and they asked us if we had anything, if we had purchased anything from anyone. And I just remember Jake like surreptitiously trying to hide this giant hiking pole that we had on the side of the car, which they didn't see. So they let us go. Not sure they would have cared if they saw a hiking pole. They're so ornate though, I'm tempted to get a souvenir of sorts myself now. I think back then we were all so young, I'm pretty sure Jake was the only one of us that wasn't like completely frugal. I can't speak for Michael, but I remember in my case I was spending pretty much my last $100 to get out here and do the trip. I guess we could go do River Spur Trail later. This is such a beautiful, like, short nature trail though. I was trying to look it up. I've been here twice before, in 2009 or 2008, something like that. First backcountry trip. And then came back with a different friend, Blake, and my dad joined for that trip. think that was 2017. So it's like I come up here once every 8 to 10 years. And I say 8 to 10 because they're rough estimates anyways. So beautiful. And no windstorms today. It's actually as calm as can be. Waking up this morning's one of the quieter mornings I can remember in my life. Makes you think something's wrong with your ears. It's so quiet. It was awesome. Extremely peaceful. But I have so many stories of my first trip here with Michael and Jake. The trail I did yesterday at Marufo Vega was we did it the last day we were here, the three of us. And Michael's feet were shot. He his feet were just completely demolished. He had blisters on every surface. And he wanted to call it quits and just go home, which I can understand being in his position. But I wasn't in his position, and I was like, no, one more day, we can do this. We weren't going to do the full 14 miles. We were just hiking a mile out, setting up tent. We were just going to camp one more night. He begrudgingly was down for it, and Jake and I were kind of double teaming him a little unfairly. And at first he decided he was going to stay in the car. And then later we saw him coming out to where we were setting up the tent, and we kind of all, I don't know. There's too many stories to tell. I've kind of started this one with too much preamble, and I'm already at the end of my hike, so I'm not going to finish it. Because what I do, every trip I'm here, I come up to this spot and I take a photo or a selfie, because this is like, Big Bend's famous for being 3 parks in one. You've kind of got the river, the desert, and then the mountains. And this is the viewpoint to kind of, I don't know, I just always saw this as the place where you quite clearly see all 3. The short end to that story with Michael is he was just a man and came out there and managed one more day with terrible feet. You can see the river, the mountains, and then the Chizos behind it. It's beautiful. I also think of that trip, that same trail I went exploring, and then later Jake came exploring and met me on top of a mountain. It was like another mile and a half from where we set up our tent. And the second I saw him, I was like, did you bring water? He was like, no, should I have brought water? I'm like, I'm so thirsty. And he's like, I'm really thirsty too. And then Jake probably has the video somewhere, but there's a video of us. We noticed Michael like way out there in the desert walking towards us. And Jake's such a good storyteller. I just remember him being like, you know, we can see this tiny little dot of Michael's gonna make his way up to us. Chances are he's not bringing water. And just now, like, now I'm 40 years old. The idea of going even a little distance in the desert without water is like terrifying. We were so young and dumb. But yep, thinking about you guys. In this beautiful place.